Wow. This is crazy. Do you guys have any idea how weird this is? There's so many people here. I feel bad for all these people in the back, though. I think we need to do a big switch. Can all the people in the front move? Oh, no, never mind.
You're gonna lose them that way.
You guys, thank you so much. Salt Lake City, for having me. I feel like the Beatles. The Dwightles. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. The first thing I want to say is I've been a film critic for just a little bit over a decade, and the first film I ever reviewed theatrically was The Rocker. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's great.
Thank you.
So you're one of the bastards that gave it one of those terrible reviews.
I liked it.
Cool. Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I want to go down the list real fast, and then we're going to jump into some questions. You are a busy man. Galaxy Quest, Almost Famous, House of a Thousand Corpses, Badass, that's a good one, Juno, Super, Cooties, The Meg recently, obviously The Office, 6 Feet Under, Adventure Time, and Backstrom. You
left out.
Oh, there's a lot I left out. We could be here all day talking what you do.
You left out the Oscar-winning Transformers 2.
I want to jump in to the beginning of your career. Was there a moment that you knew that you wanted to be an actor? Was there a certain time in your life?
Wow, we're going deep. Inside the actor's studio. Okay, I'll tell you guys a weird story. It's in my book. Can I plug my book here? You should buy my book. Because I probably didn't sell as many books as there are people in this hall right now. So, but basically, my mom and dad got a divorce when I was 2, and I stayed with my dad, and I didn't really see my mom again until I was a teenager. And I always knew I wanted to be an actor. There wasn't any kind of like aha moment or anything like that. It was just something like literally, I knew it in my heart and my soul when I was like 9 years old. It's like, I want to do that. I want to do what those funny people are doing on those television sitcoms. That's what I want to do. And I would do like mime for my parents during dinner. I was a total geeky kid. And my dad was always weird about me acting, and then I went for it, and then I got to know my mom, and I found out that my mom had been an actress. And you want to know something really weird? I'm going to get really personal. She's okay with this. I put it in my book. The reason they got a divorce is because she had an affair with a theater director and left my dad for him. And that's why my dad was so weird about me being an actor for so many years. Oh. But it really was almost in my genes in a way to be an actor. It was so, it's kind of a strange story. Anyway.
I think you're one of the funniest actors working today.
Oh, that's nice.
And I'm curious, like, where did you draw from? What are your comedic influences? Did you have actors that you watched as a kid and growing up? And
Guy Fleegman. Sorry.
Oscar-winning Guy Fleegman.
Well, my influences as a comedy actor.
Yeah, just who got you going?
So when I was a kid, I loved Jerry Lewis.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I loved Jerry Lewis movies. I loved Bob Hope and all the Bob Hope movies. Now, no, I'm not 70 years old, but I liked to watch those old films when I was growing up. And then I watched all the sitcoms. I had a very unhappy family, so we never talked to each other. We would just watch television together, which is an easy out. Maybe some of you can relate to that. So but we watched all the sitcoms, and I always loved those comedy supporting characters, like Reverend Jim from Taxi or Klinger from MASH or whatever it is. That I loved those kooky side characters, and I always knew that that's kind of someday what I wanted to do.
Nice.
And I was such a comedy nerd. I was a nerd on a number of different levels, and maybe some of you can relate to this as well.
I think they all can.
Yeah. So besides Dungeons and Dragons marathons all weekend long, for years, and besides being on the chess team and playing the bassoon in the orchestra, besides Model United Nations, and it's having a science fiction book collection by the time I was 13 years old, I was a total comedy nerd too, and I used to Monty Python. They would play on public television, late at night. It was the only way to see it. There was no YouTube or anything like that. So I took a Panasonic cassette recorder, and I would record Monty Python episodes, and all the movies and everything like that, and the songs, and I would memorize them. And I just spent my youth listening to those cassettes over and over again.
Nice.
And memorizing Monty Python routines.
That's awesome. I think what I love about your acting style is that you, and this is totally not being an insult, you can play a really good jerk and you can play a really good softie. So when you read a script, is there something that jumps out at you that you want to choose that role? Like, do you prefer one or the other, or just?
Good. You can do better. Someone like they thought they were hitting a comic home run. They're like, beets. Yeah. It's okay. You can do better. You can do better. Whoever said that. You can do better. That's me being a jerk, right? That's the jerk part of me.
It's just honest.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm the kind of actor, it's not like I have like 27 roles on my desk saying, oh, they all want you for these parts. I'm like, which one should I play? Yes. I mean, I kind of, next, you know what I mean? I kind of like, I'm hustling for some work and, trying to get some jobs, and but I am intrigued by interesting, flawed, eccentric characters. Nice. People that are misfits, people that don't fit in. I don't think I could play a normal person if my life depended on it. I couldn't play like a dad. I couldn't play like a Mormon dad. Like, hey, honey, hey, great lasagna. Hi, Timmy. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Tanya. I don't think I could do that. So anyone I play is going to be a little warped, and I'm interested in that the flawed character. I'm interested in our flaws.
I don't think I've ever heard someone associate lasagna with Mormons, but okay. Speaking of beets, I think one of the most popular characters you've ever played is Dwight Schrute. Was there a moment when you started this role and you're like, this is a thing, like this is never gonna leave me, like this will be with me for the rest of my life? And
yeah, there was a special, it felt like a touched show from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Even though we were almost canceled like 10 different times, we barely hung on through the first season. We got terrible reviews. No one watched us, and everyone was sure we were gonna fail because they all loved the English Office, as well they should. But early on, I remember we went out to lunch, and it was me, John, Jenna, and Steve. And I remember Steve saying, like, this feels really special, and this may be the thing that we're all remembered for or known for the rest of our lives more than anything else that we do. And that was in week 1. I mean, it was a really, like, he said this really profound thing, and I was like sitting in this diner having a tuna sandwich. I was like, wow. Wow, maybe. But I had spent so many years as an unemployed actor, barely paying my bills. I did 10 years of theater before I did any TV or film, getting like, $600 a week, to play weird characters on the stage. I love I said theater, and like 4 people are like, woo, woo, woo. They should have theater conventions like this. You know? People are like, I love the theater. I'm going to come dressed as my favorite Shakespearean character. My favorite Arthur Miller character, you know? Theater con. I'm going to start that. There'll be 27 people there.
Speaking of theater, one of my questions I want to ask is because you have done on the stage. Do you prefer performing in front of a live audience, or do you prefer being in front of a camera?
I guess I would prefer performing in front of a live audience. There's something, I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say. Where did this come from?
He brought it for you. It was magic.
Did you guys see that? Did someone come out and bring it here? That was weird, because I had one water, and then I was like this, and then there was another. What was the question?
Being in front of a live audience.
Yeah, you really, it feeds you being in front of a live audience. Sure. You know, you definitely get a lot of energy. And that's where I started in high school doing theater, in college doing theater, and I went to theater school. And in fact, Jeff Goldblum is here today. Hold on. Hold your woos. Fun fact. Jeff Goldblum and I were in a play together. I think he's done one play, and I was in it with him when I got out of school in 1989. Shakespeare in the Park, 12th Night. He played Malvolio, and I understudied Fisher Stevens as Sir Andrew Aguecheek. So I just reminded him of that at the back in the green room. By the way, this is a wonderful convention. You guys are too easy. You're too easy. It's a wonderful convention, but the food for the stars sucks. There was one lunch choice. It was a chicken stir fry. I was like, oh, here's a chicken stir fry. That looks pretty good. What else? Is there a salad bar, sandwiches? What else? There's nothing else. There's chicken stir fry. That's it. So I had the chicken stir fry. It wasn't bad per se, but I'm kind of a big deal. You know, it's me, Carl Urban, Jeff Goldblum having chicken stir fry. We should have lobster. Lasagna. Beets. All right, go ahead.
Goldblum's going to be here in a couple hours. You guys could reenact the play right here.
We could.
That'd be fun.
Oh, we could do that. That was my Jeff Goldblum imitation.
Ah, yes. One thing when I was researching about you, SoulPancake is a great YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I just recently watched the episode about Haitians in Tijuana, which was fantastic. And I was wondering if there's an episode that just, that you love, that you adore, that, you'd want to promote and tell people to go watch it.
Sure. So with some friends, when The Office started taking off, we founded first it was a website, and then it turned into kind of a media company, SoulPancake, soulpancake.com, and our YouTube channel. And which the mission is to create positive content and positive, challenging content about life's big questions and what it means to be a human being. So we were kind of the first doing this. Later on, there was Upworthy and a bunch of other websites, but we were the first kind of doing that. And so it's something I'm really, really proud of, a company that I'm proud of and still associated with. And yeah, so we have made hundreds of videos, made tens of millions of views, hundreds of millions of views. We did Kid President. Maybe you've seen that show, Kid President. But there's a show that really is near and dear to my heart called My Last Days, and it's I don't want to bum you out, but it's about people who are dying. So it's lessons about being alive from people at the end of their life. My Last Days. So people should check that out. But I also love that that video I did having Haitian chicken in Tijuana. It's a really great little adventure down in Tijuana. There's my wife and I do a lot of work in Haiti for a nonprofit we started, and we found out that there was thousands of Haitians that had made their way up, made from Haiti to South America, and then come up to Tijuana to try and get in the United States for work. And they're kind of stuck there because the border's closed. So there's 4,000 or 5,000 Haitians living in Tijuana. It's crazy.
Yeah. One role I didn't mention when we first started talking, and it's actually one of my favorite roles I think you've ever done, is Harry Mudd on Star Trek Discovery. It is fantastic
thank you.
what you brought to that role. I'm curious, did you take anything from the original character, or did you just kind of just say, I'm going to do this all my own, or?
I, just like Dwight took from Gareth in The Office, I just steal all their best bits and make it my own. So yeah, Roger Carmel played the original Harry Mudd in the original series, and he brought such wonderful colors to the character. He was funny, he was dastardly, he was hyper-articulate, over-dramatic, kind of a Shakespearean character. So I just took that and put my own spin on it. But it's been a real joy to play, to be part of the Star Trek universe. For those of you too cheap to pay $6 a month to CBS All Access, it's a really terrific show, the Star Trek Discovery. It's a great show, and it's a great legacy in the Star Trek universe, and really excited. I'm going there next week to do some more Harry Mudd. So.
Awesome. Yeah. I'm excited. We're going to open it up to the audience in just a second. I've got one last question, and I might have some more later, but one thing I read about you is that you're an animal lover. At least at this time it said you have 3 pit bulls, 2 potbelly pigs. What the hell is a zonkey?
A zonkey is when a zebra and a donkey get it on. And yeah, we have a zonkey and a donkey. My wife has 3 horses.
Oh.
2 guinea pigs as well, you left off the list. So it's a menagerie out there. It's crazy. It's my wife. She's insane. But I love her.
A zonkey. All right, we can open up to audience questions. If oh, right there in the front.
Hello.
Perfect.
Hi.
Fire away.
Okay. Of all your castmates from The Office, which have you had the best relationships with since the show ended? Specifically, is Jenna Fisher kind of your friend?
Fuck you. She always takes my calls.
Please leave a message and I'll get back to you soon. At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Jenna, it's Rainn. Listen, I'm here with a few friends. They were wondering if we were still friends and kept in touch. So, I assured them that you'd take my call, that you'd pick up the phone, but you didn't actually take my call or pick up the phone. So fuck you. Good night. All right, thank you. I am sorry for all the children in the audience, and the Mormon children in the audience especially.
You could just buy in some lasagna, they'll be all right.
Yes. What are these people doing here?
They're in line to go to the front.
To the what?
Over here in the front.
Oh.
So they go from there to there.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Question. What kind of bear is best?
What kind of bear is best? Thank you. Excellent, excellent question. I'm going to go with the Tibetan sun bear. So, thank you for asking. Who's next?
How did you get the role for Dwight?
How did I get the role for Dwight? I was slated to do a comedy with Janeane Garofalo, and I ran into this television executive on the Universal lot, and they said, "Hey, we just got the rights to the English Office." And I was like, great. And I had seen it, and I loved it. And inside, I was like, oh, damn it. I want to do that one. I don't want to do this dumb show with Janeane Garofalo. I love Janeane Garofalo, but the show was not so good. And it didn't actually ever get shot. So, and then it didn't get shot. The plug got pulled from that show almost immediately, and I was available, so I auditioned. Where'd the kid go? We took him away. He asked a question, and he got whisked away by security. He doesn't even care the answer. He's like, I got my question out. You know what? Forget it. Forget it, kid. Get out of here. Seriously, where are you taking him? Like,
The lasagna shop.
yeah. Does anyone want to hear the rest of the story? He doesn't, obviously. So yeah, I auditioned. I was actually the very first person to audition for the role of Dwight. I was the very first person to audition for The Office, period. Day one, first day, on the sign-in sheet, which the casting director gave me, my name is number one there, and I auditioned for Dwight and Michael. I did a terrible Ricky Gervais impersonation as my Michael, but I really knew that Dwight was the role I was right for, and several auditions later, we had callbacks. They mixed and matched us. I read with Bob Odenkirk from Better Call Saul as Michael. I read with a lot of other great actors, and then the rest is history. Yeah.
All right, so I know part of your life you grew up in the Chicago area, and later on in life you grew up, you went to college in New York as well as doing theater, as you said. So my question, as a Chicago area native myself, can you answer the biggest food question between the two cities? Which is better, Chicago style or New York style pizza?
Wow. I'm sorry, bro. New York. I'm sorry. It's better. It's just better. It's not Chicago. Like you shovel like 1.5 pounds of cheese into every pizza, which is good once or twice. But yeah, thin crust all the way. Sorry. All right. Thanks. Thank you. Yes.
My question for The Office is on the return. For Dwight Schrute trivia, is there anything on there, and if so, what is it?
I totally didn't understand that question.
On the episode Return, the character Dwight Schrute gives Dwight Schrute trivia to job interviews.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Is there anything on there?
Oh, wow, that's a very interesting, insightful, probing question. I honestly can't remember. I can't remember. There's an app where it's a Quizlet or quiz show or something like that, and I played Office trivia on there sometimes, and I lose every time. I lose like in the second round, and it's pathetic. So I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that question.
Hi. So you did a little awesome film with James Gunn called Super.
Yeah.
I don't know, in light of recent events, would you work with James Gunn again?
Would I work with James Gunn again? Yep, absolutely I would, yeah. I think James Gunn is a great guy, a brilliant director, a good friend, a brilliant mind, one of the most brilliant people working. And just like he said in his apology about those tweets and that he did 10 years ago, like he's a provocateur, he's always trying to like push buttons and break down walls and push boundaries. If you see the movie Super that him and I did together, there's all kinds of really there's prison rape in it, and there's all kinds of weird stuff, and he's kind of genre bending in that way, and that's part of who he is. It's not who he is anymore, like he said, and I think that, we all tweet and say dumb things at various points in time, and I wish him the very best. I think he's going to have a big, amazing, wonderful career because he's an incredible talent, and it's great to see the support for him out here. Thanks.
Hi, Rainn. My name is Joe, and I'm a dentist. And on The Office, you talked a lot about your dentist named Crentist.
Yeah.
You also said that cleanings weren't important. How do you feel about dental cleanings, really?
How do I feel about dental cleanings? I try to avoid them as much as possible. My dentist is like, I'll get it clean, and they'll be like, great, well, I'd love to have you back in 4 months for another one. Like, 4 months? What? I have a life. I can't just live in the dental chair, so I get in every 2 or 3 years. So, thanks. Hello, young Padawan. What are you dressed as? Dr. Strange?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the end of The Office, when Dwight becomes regional manager, do you think he would have carried on the Dundies?
Dwight would have banned the Dundies. Absolutely, because it's simply, it's frivolous and unnecessary. He would have found other kinds of bonding activities that involved, like, skinning a carcass. Something like that. Yeah.
Hi there, I'm a junior high school teacher, and I'm sloughing. Shh. And I'm curious, what would Dwight Schrute tell the students for advice?
Wait, today's a Friday, so school is in session, and you're not in school. No.
I am sloughing.
Okay, interesting. Can I get you fired?
No.
Where is this?
It's a personal day.
What? Personal day. Okay. What was the question, though? What do I do?
What advice would Dwight Schrute have for those junior high school students?
To not be idiots, basically.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi. Which of Jim's pranks was your favorite?
Which of Jim's pranks is my favorite? This is a very popular question these days. It's interesting how this ebbs and flows because in the past I never got asked this question, but today I've been asked this like 10 times. I think my favorite prank was Dwight's desk being moved into the bathroom. Because I love the moment that Kevin was back there the whole time and you hear the toilet flush. Yeah.
We loved you as Lex Luthor. In The Death of Superman, you were perfectly dastardly. What other villains would you like to play?
Oh, wow, that's a great question, and I wish I had a better answer. I would love to play more villains. They're the most fun to play. They're funnier and more dramatic and crazier. None are springing to the tip of my tongue right now. Do you guys have any ideas? What villains should I play? Darth Vader. Something like that. Yeah. I think the guy who played Dwight is under there. A lot of good ideas. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
So, what was your favorite episode of The Office to film and why?
What was my favorite episode of The Office to film? I really loved the episode that was called Money, and that's where they went to Dwight's bed and breakfast. And he was alternately heartbroken at the loss of Angela. And there's a beautiful scene where him and Jim are in the stairwell, and he's crying, and then Jim says something to him supportive, and he reaches out for Jim, but Jim's not there, and he just touches the wall and then looks around. And I just love that moment. To me, that perfectly encapsulates The Office. It goes from heartbreak to ridiculous, in a second and a half. So, thanks.
So in The Office, you and Jim, specifically Jim, exchanged a lot of pranks. Do you ever do any pranks to each other in real life on set?
We did pranks on set. No, We really didn't do a lot of pranks on set. I'm trying to think if there was anything. We didn't really. Pranks take a lot of like work and preparation and like thought, and so I'm too lazy and dumb to really come up with pranks, basically. Thanks. Hi.
Hi. Me and my friends just love you on The Office, and my question is, what's your favorite catchphrase that Dwight would always say on The Office?
That's really more of a Michael phrase, but what was my favorite catchphrase on The Office? Nah, not that one. Good try. Yeah, I don't know. We kind of like. It's funny because people say Bears beats Battlestar Galactica, but that was Jim being Dwight. You know what I mean? It wasn't really Dwight saying that. So, yeah, I would say idiot, or anytime he would say idiot and the way he said idiot, or the way he'd go running to Michael, Michael, Yes.
Hey, hi, my name's Pete, and I'm a fan of The Office is great. I love it. And what is your favorite season of The Office, and why?
What's my favorite season of The Office?
Yeah, and why?
Spring. Because the flowers come out. Favorite season of The Office? I don't know. Favorite? I've seen every episode once when it came out on the TV, so I haven't watched them in like 6 years. But I don't know. I think they're all pretty good. Some are better than others. I really do like the last 6 or 7 episodes at the very end. I thought they just built really beautifully, and it was a great final arc to the show. Yes.
Okay. Whose beard is best, yours or John Krasinski's?
Whose beard? I think my beard would totally dominate his beard. Like an alien from The Quiet Place. Eating him on the road, my beard would just pounce. Take that, Jack Ryan.
Okay, so my name is Joanne, and my question is, if you had one thing to change with The Office, what would it be?
One thing to change with The Office? Interesting question. I think after Steve Carell left, a lot of mistakes were made, and I think it got a little wonky, and I know the network got really nervous that Steve was gone, even though we had everyone else had been playing leads in movies, and Ed Helms was just in The Hangover, and so when they brought in James Spader, who I think is a fascinating actor. I don't think it was kind of a mismatch for him in the show. And there were just some creative choices there in that first season and a half or so after Steve left that kind of took the show off track a little bit. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just wondering how you felt about the ending of Cooties, because when I watched it, I was kind of just like, that's it? Did you feel like it wasn't really ended right?
The ending of Cooties. So there's a horror comedy I did called Cooties that no one saw, but it's really funny, and you should check it out. It's, there's parts that don't quite work, but it's got a real fun Shaun of the Dead kind of quality, and there's parts that are hysterical and really good. And yeah, the ending was a problem, and basically the ending was they ran out of money. So we had a great ending on this original script where the survivors went across a lake, and they found this old folks' home that seemed abandoned, and they were looking for shelter, and then all the senior citizens of the old folks' home were actually turned into zombies. So then they were, in a surprise twist, not just children were becoming zombies, but then the seniors were as well. And so all these 80-year-old zombies were attacking them, and it was really funny and weird. It was a great twist, but they're like, that would have been an extra $350,000 that we didn't have, because that's how the world of independent film works. A lot of times you're like, oh, that scene's $28,000. Cut that, you know, or so they kind of tacked together an ending, and they really had trouble with the ending on that. So that being said, it's really good up until the ending, which is okay, but not as good as it could have been. Yeah.
Hi, so I am a big fan of horror, and I love you as Fish Boy in House of a Thousand Corpses. So I was wondering what it was like getting that role and filming that, just that kind of different thing than you usually do.
Yeah, so House of a Thousand Corpses was my first kind of lead in a movie. I had been in my first 2 movies were Galaxy Quest. Stand up, please. The Thermians are here. And Guy Fleegman. Excellent. Not sure who you are, but that's okay. And then I did Almost Famous, and then my first lead in a movie was House of a Thousand Corpses, which was cool. I just went on a random audition, and Rob Zombie was there. I was like, wow, this is wild. And you know, I read for the kind of nerdy guy and Bill, and it was a blast. We had so much fun making that movie. Rob is a really cool guy, and we got to improvise. We had a lot of fun. We really bonded. That cast, Chris Hardwick was in the cast. Me and Chris got along great. We had a lot of fun, and it was a good time. And then the film was banned. It was dropped by Universal because it was too gory and violent. And so it kind of sat on a shelf for like a year and a half before Lionsgate released it. It kind of put Lionsgate on the map. That was like one of their very first movies that they did a big release on, and they made a lot of money from it. So it kind of launched Lionsgate, which then bought Cooties and dumped it straight to video. So I created Lionsgate, and basically I created a monster that ruined my career. So thanks, Lionsgate.
I think we've got time for one more question. So make it a good one.
Hello. Well, mine was about Cooties as well. I'm wondering if they decided to do a sequel, would you be up to playing it? And if so, I mean, I'm available to play your brother.
Yeah, I think you could do it. You're cast. Boom. I think, yeah, you know, sequels are always have to do with box office, and Cooties didn't even really it just got dumped on video, basically. Even though it tested really well, audiences really like it, so I highly doubt there's going to be a Cooties 2, but if there were, for some reason, I would love to be a part of it. It was a blast. Elijah Wood is great, and his team that kind of was behind producing it, it was a great experience. So I'm glad to see that there's some Cooties fans out here.
I got to see it at Sundance. I thought it was fantastic. Yeah. I've got one last question, and it's I like to ask everybody this question because I think it tells a lot about a person. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Go-to karaoke song, and feel free to borrow this, but I do Smells Like Teen Spirit as a lounge singer. So I do it as a Vegas lounge singer. With the lights down, this is dangerous. Here we are now, entertain us.
I don't think we can beat that, so thank you for coming to FanX.
Drop the mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rainn Wilson.
Thank you.